everyone, and welcome to the Dr. Music Podcast, where I have with me today Mr. Danny Rossi. Danny is the frontman of the OutLiars, which we had talked about on his previous visit here, and I love having return visitors to the show. This is great. This time we're going to talk about Dr. Groove, a new solo project he has going on. Now, that's Dr. Groove, I say, DR, capital DR, no period. Of course, DR being for Danny Rossi. Great name for a solo project. Danny and Dr. Groove have just released a new single called Intoxicated, You're All I Need, in advance of what I hear is an upcoming record. Danny, it's great to see you out there being creative. Welcome back to the show, man.
Thank you for having me, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's always great to have you, man. Dr. Groove. This is so cool, man. What a great single. Like the OutLiars, great single. I hear a record's coming. You've been writing for this project. Let's talk about that. Well, first of all, why do the Dr. Groove project? Why is this not part of an OutLiars record?
Well, I've been joking since I'm a kid, since I was a teenager, and you're writing songs with bandmates, when it was like, it was good, but it wasn't a song that sounded like the band or, what you guys are writing together. So I would joke around, oh, okay, I'll keep it for my solo album. And this is joking. Like, it's like going on 30 years now since I'm a really young teenager and I said music. Then when we started when we did the first OutLiers single a little over a year ago, John, the guitar player, and I were just like sending riffs back and forth to each other. Like, does this sound good? Does this sound good? What do you think of this? And even some riffs I would send him, John is got this, I don't know, he musically he's amazing. I love watching him go. And he would even take some stuff that I did and it didn't sound like it. It sounded almost like it sounded absolutely not almost like it absolutely sounded like a totally different song, but it was amazing. Yeah. So I'm like, oh my God, we still got songs. After a while, I was like, you know what? And Don was also recording solo material. His stuff was just about done. It was getting mixed. And I was like, you know what? I have all this stuff, like complete songs. Almost all of them were complete. And I was like, I think I'm just going to go do it. Something different from the OutLiars. Right. And just make it mine, and where I don't have to have any, oh, this is how my back sounds. This is what we stick to, kind of. I'm like, one song is going to be like super heavy, and you got like this single, Intoxicated, which is kind of almost like pop rock, I guess you could say. I mean, you still got the guitars, and you can hear my influences, but it's a bit softer. I got one song that's going to sound like Alice in Chains and Stained Had a Baby.
Wow, nice.
Musically is always a different story, but musically it's going to sound like that. I'm like, okay, let's just go do it. And I went in and I started recording it. And then as soon as I stumbled upon this song, about 6-7 songs deep, this song wasn't even a choice for a single. I had 2 other ones that were like, do I do this one or that one? But I heard the way this sounded, and we're not talking about final product. We're talking about, we had just started by going in a couple of days a week and recording match tracks on guitar and building drums with a digital program to kind of guide whatever drummer I was going to have come in.
Right.
And I just heard this one and I was like, oh, I have to release this song. It just hit me. It was in the car ride on the way home because I was working with Kevin Jardine from Slaves on Dope. I've been working with him for years. And he sends it to me right on the spot. He emails me like a fast MP3, like a fast mix. And I was like, well, yeah. So like I'm talking to my car because I don't text and drive and stuff. So I'm talking to my car to send the text message. I'm like, change of plans, dude. And he's like, of course, this is his answer. He's not surprised that I'm like this, right? Right. And he knows me. We've been working together like a little over 15 years. He knows me now. And he's like, what's up? So I'm like, well, we're going to release this song. And he's like, okay, like,
That's
whatever
cool.
You want, dude. It's your project,
Yeah, that's awesome, man. He has trust in what you want to do with your music, and that's it's a great partnership to have.
Well, it works back and forth. He's going to give his opinion. He's going to do his job as a producer. Um, he's going to give you what he thinks, but ultimately, it's what you want, right? Even in Intoxicated, we had done everything. Now we started doing lead tracks. I'm like, okay, now I want a dirty wah wah over everything,
Right.
like the intro riff and the middle part, like the pre-solo. And he goes, really, dude? I go, yeah. I go, like, I just want a dirty slash wah wah. I just want it to sound like, messy and like screechy,
Right.
And then he gives me about 50% of what I asked for because like I'm way out there. So we got that happy balance,
Yeah.
In between and for it to sound good once. I mean, he won't release anything that with his name on it that's not going to sound good, obviously.
Yep.
But we met somewhere in the middle, and we got exactly what I wanted for the song.
That's great, man. And it is a killer song. It's just so good, man.
Thank you so much.
It really is. It's great to listen to. It's a lot of fun, man. What do you want to accomplish with this music? You're saying that it's everything is going to be a little bit different. You didn't have any boundaries here. The intention for the record, does it differ from what you intend to do with the OutLiars? The OutLiars has to sound like the OutLiars, whereas this, you could do whatever you want. Did you have any focused intention with this, or just, hey, what I feel is what you're going to hear?
Yeah, that it's basically, hey, what I feel is what you're going to hear.
Okay.
And that was the whole thing. As long as it's groovy, that's where the name came, right?
Right.
I went through a few renditions. I was like, of the name for the whole project. I think I was going to call maybe the album of the groove and just use my name.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, see the groove. Then maybe the groove would be the name for the project. I go, but I'm already the OutLiars, But then I said, oh, you know what? I found a way to sneak my name in there just by putting doctor,
Yeah.
So
it's cool. It's really cool. I asked Jody, actually, publicist, of course. I saw DR Groove, and I'm like, that just looks. Dr. Groove really is cool. But, it's DR, of course, Danny Rossi. So there's that question of how to say it. You do. The intention was Dr. Groove, yeah.
It was like yes and no. I was actually through another interview I did with Jody where we finalized and made it Dr. Groove. I think it was some guys in Illinois. I think it was Illinois. I did an interview on a radio interview one night, and he's like, is it DR Groove? He goes, but is it Doctor? It's not Doctor. I go, look, it's Doctor, but it's not Doctor. Like, how do we explain this? Then like he goes, just go Doctor. I go, okay, it's Doctor, but no period. Then we're just do capital D, capital R. Okay, it'll just be easier, less confusing for people, I guess, to just call it Dr. Groove.
Yeah, that's cool. That's great. It's a great name, man. Having the Dr. Music podcast, I can take it. It's
let's cool. Do it. I didn't even think of that,
right? We got Dr. Groove with Dr. Music. It's pretty great, man.
This is a match made in heaven right here.
How about it? I agree, man. Let's talk about Intoxicated a little more, especially that guitar solo right near the center of this thing is just, it's got that two guitar, you get two different tones. It's a la Thin Lizzy, that Robertson Gorham thing, where you can tell which one's which. There's a drastic difference in tone, but they just blend so beautifully, and that's what you get with this song, this great solo right there. Who are we hearing? Is it the same player? It's got to be two different guitars. Is this done in the studio? Definitely two different tones, two different guitars, two different players. What are we hearing right there?
Okay, so that little wah wah solo that you're talking about, the first part, right. I'm so proud because I wrote it. I'm like, I wrote a guitar. I'm a singer. Guitar for me is secondary. I just used to like to go on stage, just bring and and sing. Like,
right.
Well, I used to look at guitar players. I'm in a band. I'm in a band with, and I just be like I just want to like strum a chord and sing. Don't give me complicated stuff. I want to entertain the people. Mm-hmm. Right. I'm no James Hetfield, where I can pick that fast, So I wrote that, and
you're a
Go
bass
ahead.
player from the beginning, right? You started on the bass.
Yeah, as a teenager, I started on bass. I just wanted to be a bass player. I ended up
Huh.
being a singer because we had no options
Right.
when we were kids.
I've
It
heard
kind of
that.
worked out for me. I was better singing. I was better singing than playing bass,
Right.
But so yeah, so I wrote this guitar solo and I had Kevin play it because I don't even record my instruments. I just sing. That's all I record is vocals.
Okay.
And we had the song, and we had now actually he thought I should sing over that. And I said, so I actually was looking to write more lyrics for that part. And when I didn't find any more lyrics, and I don't feel any singing in this section here, I said, we're going to throw the wah wah over that too. And it'll be like a pre solo.
Mm-hmm.
So now I have the song, everything's recorded except the guitar solo and a couple of little extra leads over top. And because John and I are good friends from the OutLiars, I sent him the song. Hey, dude, want to hear what I've done? Because he had been sending me his stuff too that was just about to be released. And he's like, he goes, yeah, I'd love to, And he listened to the song. He's like, wow, man, that sounds great, dude. I said, well, listen. I said, if you like it that much, solo's yours. Obviously, if you feel it. And he answers back, I was hoping you were going to ask.
Nice.
So I was like, that's the attitude for this whole project I want. It's like a big collab project, but I want people to get involved. I don't want to really be hiring studio musicians that I don't know.
Right.
I want people, like all friends, to come on board and do this with me. So John's like, he goes, but don't expect a solo tomorrow. I'm like, I know how you are, dude. I go, I know how you are. Every note is calculated. He's gonna listen to it over and over and make sure the note that comes after the last one fits in perfectly.
Nice.
And I'm happy. And that's how the OutLiars stuff is done as well, too. So like, it might take long, but the product we end up having is always perfect for us, where we're totally satisfied with the final result. So about 2-3 weeks later, he sends me, he goes, I got something for you, dude. He sends it to me. And I'm like, absolutely perfect. I don't want you to change a thing. And he goes, you sure, man? That's the first thing I put together. I go, it is perfect. Leave it alone.
Yep.
He's a guitar player.
Okay. Yep.
He's a guitar player. About a week later, he's like, oh, dude, I wrote this other solo for you. Okay. He sends it. It was great. It wasn't like the first one, right. But I like his first 3 notes. Like his, like coming in, like almost like coming into it like da-da-da-da-da. I was like, beautiful. Right. So I'm like, okay. I said, but now you made just like difficult. I go, now you got to redo the first solo, but use the first 3 notes, your lead in from this second one.
Right.
I go, that's how I want you to lead into this one. I said, but that's the only change I'd make. Your first one is absolutely perfect. And he's like, okay, done. So he did it all from home.
Wow.
And he sent it to Kevin, and Kevin just, I don't know if he reamped it. He might have reamped it at the studio, and because it's a digital signal, straight into the clean signal into the computer, and right. And then he mixed it in.
It's just, I mean, people want, you gotta go hear this. I mean, listen to the song and listen to that guitar. The way that lead in to this solo, they act together, man. I mean, the lead in just amplifies that, so it just lifts it up, and then that solo just, it's punishing, man. It's just great. It's such a great way to do that song.
Well, that's what I like about working with John, even with the OutLiars stuff, is he's going to complement everything else around it. It's not going to be, oh, this is my time to shine, watch me go.
Right.
Some songs call for it. Now, if this song had called for that, sure, go. But this song here, it just required something. The whole song is smooth. It's keeping you going. It's having you sing along. I like to believe anyway. So the solo is going to have to complement that. You can't have some like crazy like Eddie Van Halen shredding in this song. It doesn't make sense.
Right. And that's just it. It is a solo that plays to the song, for sure. It's a huge enhancement to the song. And listening to it, I can't imagine it without this guitar thing. It's just the way they act together is so well done. So well done. Tell us about the rest of the music you've been working on here. What are we gonna get? We gonna get jazzy stuff from you. We're gonna get, funky hip hop type stuff. You got no boundaries here. What are we gonna hear?
It's always going to be riff rock. I'm a riff rock kind of guy. I love that old school rock, real. I like to call it real music. I know it's not nice. We're all entitled to our opinions, but man, that old school music is just what people still listen to today. Everything else is a flash in the pan.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's popular for 5 minutes, or maybe these guys were lucky they were popular for 10 minutes.
Right.
There's nothing like good old rock and roll, and the proof is in the pudding, man. Look at the biggest concerts. Right. Everybody's going to watch Aerosmith, Metallica, Iron Maiden. Right. Like the stadium tour with Motley Crue, not Motley Guns N' Roses, Motley Crue, Def Leppard, and the Poison. It's like it's huge, so big that Motley Crue and Def Leppard are going out together, on their own for South American dates. It's like this is the music people listen to. It's the music people want to hear, and we need good riff rock.
Yeah.
So that's my whole thing, and. And I'm not going to go crazy like you said. It ain't going to be jazz or some hip hop stuff. It's going to be riff rock or melodic rock, but it's always rock and roll for me.
Cool. Good to hear, man. What inspires you to write? Movie guy, books, personal stories, experiences that you get from day to day, or are you a guy, sit down and watch, a movie and say, hey, I want to write something in that vein. How do you come up with your ideas, concepts?
Everything you mentioned. Number one, and when people ask me, how do I write a song? And I said, it could be 3 chords, or it could be, a very complex thing that I've done in the past as well. It comes from the heart. People have to believe. You have to believe your story, and it's only believable if it's, the truth, right? And I've written just about from everything. I'll say not a movie, but a TV show. I can't remember the name of it. Oh, Homeland, the TV show.
Uh-huh.
Homeland. And what was the song called? This was my old band one. Down to the Wire, right? Okay. It's about a guy, fighting for our freedom, and he's taken as a prisoner of war, right? And he's got to fight every day not to either kill himself or be killed, because he's a prisoner of war. Other stuff has come from life experiences. The song Intoxicated is as much as people, it just sounds like a regular love song. It's actually a love song about alcohol, right? And the struggle. Right. Intoxicated really does mean intoxicated. It's not a metaphor for anything.
Right.
Right. I don't have a problem with alcohol. Never did. I was lucky. Mm-hmm. I'm lucky enough that, if I feel like having 2-3 drinks today, if I feel like getting stupid drunk next week, but I might not drink for 6 months. It doesn't change anything for me. Right. Even with life on the road, it was like a habit, drinking every day. Whereas other people, it's a problem. And I have friends in the program. Some people realize it young in life. Some people realize it older. And being an artist and a musician, there's a lot of people who didn't make it. Yeah. And not just alcohol, but alcohol and substance abuse. So I thought it was a story that needs to be told. It's the struggle that an alcoholic has every day when he wakes up, and to fight the urge, right? And intoxicated by your eyes, it's the eye of a bottle. When I see you smile, I feel so alive, and this is where it's kind of funny when I tell you how I thought of that line, not the story, but the song itself. We've all been stupid drunk to the point where you come home and you go to the bathroom, you pass by the mirror and you're like, because you're so hammered, right? And you think it's great, and then you pass out on the couch or in the bed face down, right? That's where all the lines in the song, they all relate along those lines.
Wow. Nice.
And
Nice.
that's where the "You're All I Need" comes in, because
Yeah.
you wake up, it's like it's a struggle every day.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. That's and that is subliminal. And I know you like to write like that, right? You're not a real literal writer. You like to have that little bit of where the listener has to work a little bit and listen and analyze and really get into the song to find that message.
Yeah. I mean, and at the same time, I think I told you last time we spoke, is that if the song is a love song to you, that's great. If it's a love song for the your partner or whoever you're with in life, your children, your parents, whoever, it's just love, and
Yeah.
that's fine. That's the message you want. You want people to feel something. It might not be your message, but if it's just supposed to make you feel. So I'm fine with it. I don't get no, my song is about this. It's
Right.
too bad. No,
Right.
it's whatever you want it to be.
Yeah. That's great, man. And then, it's for everybody. That way. Where, you can feel free to feel the way you want as long as you feel. And it's pretty cool. It's special, man. Yeah, I listen to this stuff. I feel it for sure. Um, Kevin Jardine, former guitarist for Slaves on Dope, uh, collaborator, producer on this record. What does he do for you as a writer and musician? Do you, when you know it's going to him, do you tend to write differently? Do you feel that way? And how involved was he in the actual writing process?
So I've worked with lots of different producers, and everybody's been great. There's just something about how Kevin and I work together, the ease of everything from the vocals to his input, his ideas. Um, Even for, well, example, this song, when John's solo comes in this song here, like I just had the basic, three chords of the chorus that would continue on. Was it? I think so. I think it was basically the three chords. Yeah, it should be. I'm trying to think back, but let's see if there was anything else. And he's like, no, let's cut it down. Let's cut it down to two chords. We'll kind of change the feel for the guitar, so we'll leave it more open for the guitar to be really free. So that's just D and A, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
He made me hear it, and I'm like, yes, okay, I like it. That's good. So
Yeah.
little stuff like that. And where Kevin comes in is he's going to tell you the truth. This first song, this Intoxicated, it wasn't even called Intoxicated. The song was called You're All I Need.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going for a very minimalist chorus. I wanted it to be like, I really wanted the impact of the You're All I Need. And so basically my verses going into the chorus ends with because you're all I need. And then all I did was repeat you're all I need twice. The first time he heard it, he's like, look, dude, man, so you don't have enough lyrics. He goes, it's very repetitive. I'm like, yeah, I know. I thought of that. I mean, I kind of knew he was going to say that. But sometimes you need another opinion, because I was kind of going for a, off the top of my head, like Velvet Revolver, like Fall to Pieces.
Okay.
I mean, the song's basically one verse at the beginning, and then it's like, I'm falling down every time I fall to pieces. It's over and over the same. The whole song is a chorus,
Right.
And it's one of my favorite songs. It's amazing. So I'm like,
Right.
I was kind of going for that minimalist thing like that. This is not the song for it. It didn't work. And Kevin told me, and I'm like, yeah, okay, dude. Then now that I had the music recorded though, and I'm listening to it, it didn't take me long. And I had a song that I really wanted to call Intoxicated. I had it was a ballad. It was never going anywhere. I would always get blocked. Like the song wasn't flowing. Then I started writing another song. I called that one Intoxicated. I was trying to use the words there. Basically, I had like 3 songs working that weren't working out. They were full, but they were all called Intoxicated.
Okay.
And the lyrics in the chorus was all that. It was basically kind of similar. But now this was about my fiance. It actually wasn't about alcohol. I was just trying to write a song about her. And then I realized that these lyrics, as straightforward as they are, it's Intoxicated. And about this song, I'm like, these fit perfectly. The words, lyrics, and melody fit perfectly on those chords, better than the other 2-3 songs. So I had to scrap like 3 songs that weren't going anywhere anyways,
Right.
and use that chorus for this one.
Nice.
And that's how this song became Intoxicated.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, you were all on the Intoxicated wagon there, man. You definitely you had to get that song out, that title and those words for sure. It's pretty cool.
As you can see, I'm a little obsessive when I have an idea.
And that's a great thing, man.
I thought it would be cool, and I just love that Intoxicated by Your Eyes. I just loved how that rolled, like lyrically and melodically, and I was like, I got to use this somewhere.
Right.
And I'm using it not where I wanted to, but it's where it fit and it sounds good.
Yep. And that's what songwriting is, man. It's very cool. Yeah. Very cool. When will we get the record? How you're working on a full record, right? How many you got done? When are we going to get a record?
So I finished plans and I said, I'm going to release this one first. Mm-hmm. We did that. And I said, look, give me some time because I know I'm going to release it. Like I had to edit my video and do all this stuff. And I called Kevin up. I was like, we're going to have some time. Give me a couple of months. Let me just do all what I need to do. And then as stuff was winding down, I was starting to have more time. Then I'm like, oh, okay, well, my boys in the OutLiars are like, Danny, did you ever finish lyrics for that second song we wrote? I go, yeah, a long time ago. He goes like, maybe it's time we do it. It's been sitting around for a year. I'm like, okay. So I went and did the entire song instead of, and then to add more stuff, one of my friends calls me up and goes, hey man, you want to do an opening slot for a Halloween party? So I'm like, sure, I have no band though. So I called up the boys in the OutLiars. I said, do you guys want to do it? Oh, I mean, we can just have fun. We can do the OutLiar song. We can do the second OutLiar song since I'm recording it. Yep. I said, I'd love to do my song if you guys would honor me. And they're like, of course, man. Sure, dude. And I said, John, why don't we do one of yours? Because I love John's music. Mm-hmm. It's just so well put together. My first thing when he asked me about it, I'm like, dude, this is a guitar player album. Mm-hmm. It's got just, but not too much. And I just enjoy listening to it. So I'm like, I'd love to do one of your songs. I go, but please, I'll back you up on guitar, but it better be easy. and so that, and I said, maybe we'll just throw a couple of covers in. It's only a 30-minute set. Yeah. So I've been doing all this in the past 2 months, is getting all this together. So wait till November so I can go back and work on my stuff.
Yeah.
I need all this madness over with, So.
Cool. How many songs you got ready that you're pretty much done
when we stopped because I wanted Intoxicated released, I think we were about 6 or 7 songs deep.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah. And again, this is all just scratch tracks, and we were building drums.
Right.
Because then Kevin would give it to me, I'd come home and I'd write bass lines. Poorly, I might add you, but the bass is important for me. Okay. But I'd write the bass lines for either Kevin to play or whatever bass player will play on my album for me, like different songs. Like I was saying before, it's collab. Right. What this song had John on it. Kevin will most likely record all the rhythm guitars and the bass if I don't have a bass player for the song. Mm-hmm. But then drums and lead guitar will be a different person on every album. Wow. On every song, sorry.
Every song. Yeah. Wow, that's cool. Yeah, that's total collab. And that I like that, man, because you're gonna get some different sounds. When you get a different drummer, even if they're playing the same part, if it's a different drummer, they hit differently, same with any player. It's gonna sound a little bit different. And it's gonna be a pretty fun record to listen to, man. It sounds like a lot of different sounds coming at you.
I'm hoping so. And that's the whole thing too. You know, I I could get a rock drummer to play. Let's say, like I have one really heavy song, and when I say really heavy, it's heavy my style. But I'd rather get a metal drummer to play this kind of
Right.
thing. It'll fit more the style of the song.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's, yeah. I mean, everybody, like I say, they hit differently. It's
Yeah.
just when you're used to doing something, you can grab that sound a little easier. With one, you toured a lot. You were on the road a lot, did a lot of shows. Do you miss that? Do you want to tour on this record or with the Outliers, or do more shows?
Um, I I would love. I missed the stage, and I'm looking so forward um to playing this show. And I know it's not a long set; it's only like half hour, like 6 songs. That will probably, well, yeah, I think but 6 songs we're playing, and I know it's just gonna be like it's gonna give me the itch again. Um, I loved touring. I didn't like the traveling, maybe because it was miserable. We were like in a van with a trailer because we were trying to save money and make money, right?
Right.
Like you could spend it on a Winnebago, but like then you make no money. It's like, okay. So
Right.
I don't think I would ever do it like that again. Like I just can't. I can't do that.
Yeah.
Traveling that way again.
That is rough.
Um, I didn't like it when I was younger. I can only imagine like I really won't like it now, like
Right.
at all.
Right.
So
Definitely.
um but I miss it a lot. It was so much fun, like just connecting with people, and whether it was like a small crowd in a small bar or a huge crowd in a big venue when we were opening up for national acts, it was that's where I'd like to be,
Yeah.
entertaining people.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd love to see you out here, man. I hope it happens. You can do it, in a bus, something
Yeah.
comfortable.
Oh yeah.
That would be cool. That would be cool. Now, last time we talked, I'll let you go. I know you got a busy day. You were working cigars.
Yeah.
You still doing that, man? That was that's cool. I've always loved the smell of a cigar, and and I'll go to different places, and there's guys know what they're doing, uh, and I thought, man, I want to do this one time, man. I've never smoked anything. That's just not something that I've done, but the cigar is always enticing to me, man. You're still working the cigars and stuff?
Yeah, I still work at a cigar lounge.
Yeah.
And I learned about it too. My whole life I thought I didn't like cigars.
Yeah.
Like for me it was just another job, that paid well, to have in between tours. But this one was different. I really love this place. The owners,
All right.
the customers too. A cigar lounge brings a different class of customer.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I learned so much about the difference between cigars. Like I said, I thought I didn't like cigars. I smoked cigarettes before. I was like a dirty cigarette smoker. And for me, a cigar is like, you don't even inhale this. What's the point? Like, and like I'd go on vacation to Cuba, and it's like, okay, let me just grab a Monte Cristo or a Cohiba because you're here and they're cheaper. And I lit it up, and it was like, what's the big deal about these things?
Right.
But turns out it's just that I don't like those.
Right.
Now
Right.
you get me something else that I like, example like a Romeo and Juliet, something a little smoother, lighter. I was like, oh, okay, I get it now. I
Right.
get it. And you sit back and stupid things like a thin cigar or a fat cigar.
Right. Right. And I've
The
always,
way you puff on it is different.
yeah. And I've always, I've seen, back in the day when I was a kid, cigars, I'd see the older men smoking a big fat cigar, and it just looked cool. And I loved the smell.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was just like, I
Yeah.
want to do that when I get older. And I never did.
Yeah.
But you have your go-to. What if I one day I said, I'm gonna do this, I go to the cigar shop, what's my starter cigar?
I'd tell you to start something. Okay, you're in the United States, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Chicago.
Okay, so you don't have Cubans, Chicago. So you don't have Cubans there, or legal Cubans. I mean, unless you can find them. um, but I would tell you go something light and smooth. I don't know I know a lot about the Cuban stuff, the non-Cuban stuff that is available in the United States. We have some of that here, but not in detail. But off top of my head, I would say to go with like something in what they call a Connecticut wrapper, very very light.
Okay.
So there's the Macanudo white label, or we have Ashton's, as well as the Ashton half Corona. If you want to start with the little one, they're tasty but not strong. That's just like I said off the top of my head. I mean, there's hundreds,
Right.
and different countries too. They have different tastes. So maybe you're gonna say, oh, you know what? I like this one. It's light and it's from the Dominican Republic. That's what I like. And or it could be Nicaragua or Honduras, or I mean, there's good cigars from everywhere. It's just a matter of we're all different. That's why there's so many cigars. And
Yeah. It's great. We talked about it a little more last time like this, and it's fascinating. The science of it, the way it's created. It's really there's special things, kind of like wine and all of that kind of stuff. It passes through so many hands to get to your hand and your mouth. Just really a pretty cool thing. I'll get there one day, man.
Cool. Start something smooth and light, and then work your way up. And most of the time in most cigar lounges, the people know what they're talking about, the people working, or they should at least.
Right.
If not, there's lots of discussion boards and websites and pages you can go on. Okay, what's the next logical step? Like where should I go?
Yeah. Awesome, man. Awesome. Hey, I'll leave you with one more. You can have a conversation with any living person. Who would that be?
Any living person?
Mm-hmm.
Anyone at all? Oh boy.
Snap your fingers and they're sitting there and you can have a conversation with them.
Oof. Living, actually, even if you said the person, if anybody was not living, it might be a bit difficult to. Any living person. Oh God, I'm also trying to be politically correct here. I was going to say our prime minister here in Canada, because I'd like to know what's going on through his head. No, you know what? I think I'd really like to sit down and talk to Nikki Sixx and Motley Crue.
Nice.
If I had to. I mean, I'm a huge Crue fan.
Yeah.
I love. He's just cool, right? It's cool the way he assumes his role and never set out to say, "Oh, look, I'm the best bass player in the world. Look at me," and this that. He's just a songwriter, and he was good at it. And I'd like to sit with him and just pick his brain and chit chat.
Yeah. That would be great. He's been through war, pretty much. He'd have some.
That's the other thing.
Yeah, great stories and great advice, and he's a well-balanced individual at this point too, which is really nice to see.
Yeah, I mean, I was my buddy, like Kevin was the guitar player, Slaves on Dope. His the singer Jason, who also sang on my song Intoxicated. He has a podcast as well, and he got to interview him. A very short interview, but he got to interview him.
Awesome.
Right? Because they were, I don't know, there was a tie with them through management way back in the day, I think, with Slaves on Dope. So he got to interview him for a little bit. And I was like, I think I sent him a message. I'm like, dude, I go, nah, I'm jealous. And now I'm jealous again. He got to interview The Rock a couple of days ago for the release of the Black Adam movie.
Nice.
I'm like, yeah, jealous again, bro. Jealous again.
I love it, man.
So a close second after Nikki Sixx would actually be sitting with The Rock.
and talking to him. Cool. That's cool. It's funny, when I went to we went to Hawaii a few years back, and the Big Island, and there's a small restaurant there, like a breakfast place, and I guess The Rock grew up right there. There's pictures of him all over the walls and stuff. He lived like right around there. And I thought, so when I was walking around there and I was thinking, wow, this is where he spent his youth coming up in a place like this, and now he's doing what he does now. It helped me better understand him as an individual. It was pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I had a little backstory on him, but his TV show, Young Rock, is actually like you're watching and you're going, oh my God, this guy's been through all this.
Yeah.
And his family, it's amazing.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. He's a good guy, man. Definitely. But Danny, thank you so much, man. Looking forward to more music from you. Man, would I love to see you here in Chicago one of these days. That would be so cool on a stage. But yeah, we've got more music on the way from Danny Rossi, Dr. Groove, the Outliers, all of that kind of stuff, man. Where can people find out about Outliers and Dr. Groove? You got websites there or Facebook pages? Or
we keep it simple. Websites, I guess it's who's gonna update a web page these days? Really, like honestly. Facebook, we have Outliers. The Dr. Groove page is my personal page. I made a side page because it's just one more thing to manage I don't want to do.
Yep.
We're also Outliers and Dr. Groove are on Instagram. And the same thing for me, the Instagram is my page and the Dr. Groove page. And then I have, we both have TikToks, which we do a little bit like TikTok. I listen. So when I realized people don't really care much about music and they cared more about the fart prank I pulled on Kevin in the studio, with a little fart machine, I was like, wait, this has got like 20 times the views of like serious song has a message. You're like, okay, it's TikTok. I mean, I like watching fart pranks too, more than the serious stuff. So I guess it makes sense, right? So we keep it simple. TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. That's how simple we are.
Yeah.
We need subscribers. You can always subscribe to the YouTube channels.
Yes.
Both of them. Danny Rossi, Dr. Groove, and the Outliers.
Yep.
Because to change your name, you need 1,000 subscribers. So we're pushing for subscribers.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely, man. Best of luck to you, man. Looking forward to the music, and always know that my door is open to you, man. Anytime you want to come back and visit and talk about new music or whatever, we'll talk about cigars again. I look forward to it, man.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Oh, I appreciate you, man. Hey, take care and stay in touch, man.
All right, man. Have a good one.
Right. You too. Bye-bye.